10-second clip
Damn.
real quick.
Is Melo going to actually? Y'all think Melo might have a chance? Somebody give him a shot next
No
season?
one's gonna give Melo a shot. I know.
I think
Melo
Wade deserves a
dead.
more chance than Melo.
Well, D Wade needs his super shot. He's laid up with his lady now. I don't think he even worried about coming back. He did the signed jersey campaign.
Space Jam.
See, that would be the
What is he,
cherry
like
on the
LeBron best
Sunday for
friend that he calls
Dwayne
out
Wade
of
for
nowhere
sure.
help?
Yes.
Just like real life,
But
you know,
we got some guests coming on the podcast.
we
today.
do. We have a lovely woman by the name of Edie Moore, works over at a beautiful organization by the name of NORML. They handle a lot of marijuana legalization initiatives across the country. She is here in the Chicago chapter. Edie, are you around us? Okay, I see you coming over my right shoulder. Hello, Edie. Fun fact, I met Edie at a infused dinner party back in Black History Month. She sat right across from me, and we just hit it off, and I was like, got to get you on the podcast sometime.
I remember that. That was fun.
Nice.
We were also
everybody.
kind of slutty, but I'm glad that you made it home safely.
That's all right. Always got to drive, be responsible when you
Exactly. So how are you today, Edie?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. This is cool.
Absolute pleasure. It's an honor
Unexpected.
to have you. So with everything going on this week with 420, the Smokers Holiday, 2020 being right around the corner, and there's a lot of states that are going to be pushing further and further for legalization, where exactly do you sit in all of this?
Well, Chicago NORML is, we're on the activist side.
Okay.
So we do have fun, but we are more interested in education and talking about how to change the laws to make sure that we are well represented and that we're getting what we deserve, what we got coming.
True.
Yeah.
How do you feel that like the people of color in the communities are getting treated in legalized states like Colorado, California? Do you feel like they have an equal footing? Like,
Oh, definitely not an equal footing. But especially in California, people are working really hard. Am I doing this? What should I do?
no, you're good. You're good.
A lot of people that we're working with, some folks at the Minority Cannabis Business Association are working to make sure that we are being heard and that the laws are being changed to be more equitable.
I seen in New York that, and I think it was in Brooklyn, they said they didn't want to pass legalized marijuana unless they had equal footing for
right.
people of color. And I feel like that should be like that in every city and
That's
every
right.
opportunity, because
That's right.
it's going to be like legalization of liquor again. It's like we don't have equal say, and it's going to be
Yeah.
losing out in the race.
It's not just equal say. It's there's some harms to be repaired.
Exactly.
So the war on drugs decimated our communities on purpose. You know, this was something that was created by the government to round us up and lock us up. And in doing so, they just, our communities were just decimated, just families, generations. And so there are some repairs to be made. We don't always use the word reparations, but that's what it is. That's what we're talking about.
And I just
Which
want
is
to
something that's on like the national, it's in the national conversation leading into the presidential elections for next year. So I'm
Yeah.
very interested in seeing in what that looks like.
Yeah, Cory Booker has a bill called the Marijuana Justice Act.
Okay.
And we are in support of that act. It calls for automatic expungements. It calls for some equity licensure, some ownership,
Hey.
some funding
That's a big
to
deal.
do that. A lot of there are about 60. I just came back from DC, so there are about 60 pieces of legislation that have been introduced, and not all of them are as strong as the Marijuana Justice Act. Not all of them are calling for that kind of change, that radical of change. It also calls for descheduling of this plant, because no way should it be a Schedule I drug. So we're very supportive of that, and we are using that language to help inform what we're doing here in Illinois.
And I want to interject as far as like corporate America is concerned, coming in the marijuana industry. My concern is that will they change the story of marijuana, how they help? I wouldn't say fabricated, but like,
The lies they told
The
you?
lies
Yeah.
that they've helped.
You see it's changing now.
Yeah, and
TV
slowly
shows,
but surely.
commercials.
Absolutely.
Well,
But-
that's the commercialization
Yeah.
of it. So that is the, that's how they're whitening it up and how they're making it. I just saw today, Carl's Jr.'s, y'all know what that is?
Yeah,
Carl's
yeah,
Jr.'s
yeah.
having a CBD burger.
Oh!
out on
Whoa.
Are you
420.
serious?
Burger.
Wow.
Carl's
Hot
Jr.?
take.
That's crazy.
Today, yo, he just
Cha-ching.
dropped it on 420. So it's
Hey.
everywhere.
That's
Everybody
actually
wants it.
that makes me very upset and unsettled.
And very upset. Very
Yeah.
upset.
That's
right.
My issue with
Not
a lot of this stuff, I mean, yeah, it's one thing to expunge records, so on and so forth.
Mars
But
don't care about
mentioned-
runs.
I mean, like you mentioned earlier, it's more about all of that time that was taken away. There are generations of families that were
Right.
broken up because of this. That's
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of black men or brown men as well, that were taken out of the labor force that could easily be paying their taxes and contributing to a better society.
And their kids.
And there's people still getting locked up for marijuana. Let's not get this confused. Just because people are getting expunged, people are still getting locked up at a faster rate every day. Like in certain cities,
Right.
I just read in Alabama, this guy he has a legal marijuana card in Portland. He happened to have 2 ounces in Alabama. He's getting 8 years in jail.
For two.
For
well,
2
And also in
ounces.
Colorado, don't get it twisted too, because in Colorado, even where it's legal, in other states where it's been legalized,
Cali.
black people are still getting locked up at a higher rate, still, even though it's legal. Because one of the things that we're advocating for here and has not been done in other states is consumption. So they make it legal, but it's illegal to consume in public. Well, where are you supposed to do this at?
Exactly.
Exactly. Same thing in
So-
Vegas. In Vegas, you can buy all the weed you want, but where can you consume it at?
Where are you gonna consume it? You can't do it in your hotel. If you live in federal housing, you can't consume if you're on the street.
Can't
You're
take it across
easily
state
being robbed up
lines.
if you're taking it straight line. So if it's legal, it's legal. That's what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So stop being prohibitive and, stop trying to regulate and make it legal if you're gonna make it legal. So those are several of the things that we're advocating for.
Okay.
We've been talking to the Illinois Black Caucus and some of the other legislators that are not in the Black Caucus to make sure that we're all on the same page. Pritzker wants to do this like quick, fast, and a hurry, and we're okay with that as long as quick, fast, and a hurry means equitable, as long as it means responsible, as long as it means expungement, as
And
long
that's
as it
Chicago.
means social consumption. As long as it means all of that, then quick, fast, and a hurry is fine. If
Amen.
it doesn't, then it's no.
In Chicago, quick, fast, in a hurry means
It's Illinois, though.
Yeah.
Whole state.
whole state.
So, Pritzker
A
ran
lot
on
of potholes.
it. Pritzker ran on it. He wants to do it real fast, and he's tying it to the budget. So he's counting that money already.
Yeah, the taxes.
He's counting that money already.
They love to
And
slide
so
a
if
new
you all
law
know
through that
who
way.
your legislator is, make sure you contact them, and you
200 zip
can
code
find that on our website too.
What's your website?
ChicagoNormal.org.
You guys are having a 420 event, right?
We are. Oh, I'm so glad you asked about that. So we are, in keeping with our mission to educate our community, we are having a health and wellness fair. We've collaborated with Canna Health Magazine, which
Nope.
is a Black-owned digital magazine.
Shout out Canna Health.
Shout out to Canna Health. And we are putting on a health and wellness fair. So we're going to be talking about physical wellness, mental wellness, financial wellness. We're going to have men's and women's health panels.
Okay.
We're really excited about it. We've been working really hard on it. So come on down to the South Side where that is. You can find all of that on ChicagoNormal with no A.org.
And one more question, Edie. I know, well, first and foremost, thank you again for stopping by.
We know you're a busy
But-
woman.
Yeah, right. But the tides are changing, as we've mentioned, economically, culturally, politically as well. This is something I've been paying attention to for a while now, since I first kind of got into politics in my early 20s. And things tend to kind of move a lot slower than I expected. It's kind of like as I get older, I realize that times do change, but it don't happen as fast as you think it does
As you
when
get
you're
older,
younger.
how old are you?
I'm 29 now, so I'll be 30 in October, but
Man.
I'm an old man. I've lived a hell of a life. Nonetheless, what is your perspective on how things are going, and how soon do you really think we'll see the entire nation potentially be legal? Because I know banks don't want to do business with dispensaries. You have still, like we said, even in states that are legal with states' rights to states' rights, you can still get locked up and thrown in jail, federal prison for these things. Since you kind of work on the inside of these things, what's your true no holds barred perspective on how long it's going to take to get there? Because we're getting there, but it might be longer than we thought.
We're getting there soon. Cory Booker's bill is a really good bill.
Okay.
There are a lot of people behind it. When it was introduced last session, he had the most sponsors ever on a bill.
Okay.
But last session it was a Republican House, and Jeff Sessions was there, and I'm new to the politics game too. I mean, I'm in my mid-50s, and literally all I knew was,
wouldn't have known.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I mean, I literally I didn't know that much about politics, and so it's been a learning process for me. But I get back to answering your question. Cory Booker's bill is a good bill, so pay attention to that. That, like I said, there's several pieces of legislation that we're watching, and with the new Congress, it's coming close.
Okay.
It's close.
Yeah, I feel like with New York, New Jersey, Florida, our state,
These
it's
bigger
close.
states are leaning towards it. The
It's
smaller
close.
ones tend to
If
kind of start
Illinois can do
rolling.
it right,
I think everyone will follow.
we could be the benchmark.
Okay.
Really?
We could be the benchmark.
Why do you
And
say that?
because we're the biggest state in the Midwest.
Okay.
We know that Michigan is already wrecked, but they're
Mhm.
having problems already. We don't think that they rolled it out right. That's another reason why we say slow it down just a little bit.
Mhm.
There's no reason except for the governor's got this money, his eye on the money, to do it so fast. It's more important to do it right. And they tell us all the time, oh, well, let's get what we can get in now, and then we'll come back around to what
Later.
y'all asked for later. Well, we know how that works.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Seen it happen time and time
Just wait and do it right
again.
the first time.
And hopefully we do this right correctly. I mean, with a good understanding of what the pros and the cons.
Hopefully they do it like this podcast. Do it real smooth and well.
You know?
Y'all didn't ask me about business and getting into business. But everybody always wants to know that.
Actually,
Anybody
yeah.
wanna know about that?
Throw
Yeah.
us a couple alley-oops. Why not?
I feel like a lot of people want to know about owning a dispensary, but how do people go to the owner about like a grow, like a proper grow?
That's a real good question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
real
Like
good question.
not a dispensary, a grow.
Yeah. So I personally don't know anybody who home grows.
Okay.
But a lot of people I know people who home grow. But the best thing that I can say about getting into the business as a dispensary or a grower or a chef,
Get compliant.
We see a lot of chefs is to get compliant. Make sure your
Interesting.
paperwork and your ducks are in a row. Anybody who you're partnering with, that their ducks are in a row too, because that can mess you up. Y'all go down the line together, and then the next thing you know, you're at the gate and he ain't done his taxes.
Oh.
So that can mess you up.
Okay.
So
Edie.
you've got time now to get your ducks in a row.
Now, I know you talked about
Take you had a question.
Oh, what's up, Phil?
Well, it depends on how non-compliant you are.
Woo!
So if you're already doing your taxes and you're already, all of your insurance and things like that is already up to date, then you don't have to pay for that. But if you got to go back and pay back taxes and pay an attorney to help you out with that stuff can be expensive.
More
What I
money.
would say is consultants be wary
Mm-hmm.
of consultants.
Okay.
Spend a lot of
And
money.
just not really a question for you, but I know that you planted the seed in my head right now talking about business. This is an entire industry. I mean, we're talking growers, we're talking people who might be able to innovate in lighting, we're talking about advertising
Yeah.
agencies, we're talking
Construction, real
about
estate.
exactly. There's so much more to all of this.
That could be false.
If you really, check out the bigger picture of it all, you don't have to actually even touch the marijuana to benefit
right.
from
IT,
the marijuana industry
lots.
blowing up.
And activism doesn't go well though. But hey,
Be
nothing.
pro.
But you're in all the
your
right
heart is
rooms,
worth
you meet all the
gold.
right people.
Yeah, I do. I like meeting people.
Grassroots activism.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it was a pleasure to meet you, Edie.
Thank you, Edie.
Y'all welcome.
Thank you so much.
For having me.
Happy 420 to you as well.
Happy
Happy 420, everybody. High holiday.
High holidays.
That was
Oh,
pretty
man.
cool. That was pretty cool. I
This-
think we've got another guy that knows a lot about health and wellness and things like that, right? That we're going to talk.
We got a
to.
health and wellness guru coming up here.
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. Our boy Armando.
Armando, yeah.
Armando, you around this place anywhere, man?
Where he at? Where he at?
Yeah,
Damn.
come on and talk to us. I think that would be a perfect way to just kind of, segue from the cannabis and the wellness, feeling good, to doing something where you actually can take a little bit of action and initiative to truly,
Take a mental break. and all
live
that.
well. What's grade A living? It's eat good, drink good, live well.
Smoke good too.
Yeah.
Amen.
It's legal now.
How you doing, Armando?
Mondo, how you feeling?
Armando,
Doing good.
how you feeling, baby?
I feel like crap today. I didn't eat enough food today, so sometimes you don't eat enough food, but you feel good.
Yeah.
At the same time, you still feel like shit.
Yeah, that feeling, that crankiness, like, oh man, I'm shaking
Yeah.
right now. Before I got here, I had ramen too, so I was like, man, I had to get something new.
Yeah,
Because I
man.
feel like hungry at the same time.
You
So-
know, right now my family's anti-ramen
Oh,
Why is your family anti-ramen?
No,
I've
why
never
is
heard of
that?
Such a
because
thing.
I like ramen so much that I make it every day.
Yeah, last time I was at your crib, you was like, that's making ramen. I was like, hey, you tripping,
Yeah,
G.
yeah, you could buy noodles by themselves. Buy
Okay.
some nice frozen organic vegetables for like $3.50.
Okay.
And then buy some soy sauce and some spices, and you got ramen for months.
For months?
Well,
With the $3
minus-
Whoa. That is the golden ticket. bro.
I need to
That's
learn.
good.
I am
crazy.
not lying, y'all. Minus the noodles. The noodles you're gonna have to keep buying.
Armando, the most ghetto
Jesus
Puerto Rican nigga in the
Christ.
world, but I love him.
Wow. That's a good meal plan
Hey,
right
man,
there.
You
I
gotta
used-
stretch that
I
out,
used
too.
to work in fine dining, and what I noticed is that their food cost is pretty low. When you own a restaurant, you could buy a chicken breast for 25 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Turn
wholesale.
around and sell that chicken breast for $17.95.
Mm-hmm.
That potato that they bought cost about 2 cents. They'll turn around and make $8 off of those mashed potatoes.
That's
So
real.
That's one thing that I always paid attention was how people run their businesses, how they price everything. And the thing that got me focused on that was me bitching and crying about being at work.
Facts.
I'm like, man, I'm dumb as hell. I don't know shit. Oh, man. And then I'm like, hold on a second. And the Most High's like, well, why don't you look at where you're at? Look at what they're doing.
Excuse me, Armando. I know you said you worked in dining. I know
Fine
the
dining.
three of us.
Yeah.
The three of us all have that real shit. My bad.
No
But,
backhanding
yeah,
shoulder.
the three of us all have worked within a hospitality background. What position did you play over there? I'm interested in kind of talking to you a little bit more about
You see
hospitality.
that? You notice that you're gonna get an answer from me that you ain't not gonna expect. So
Yeah, because Mars wasn't here last time. He was
I've
on
heard the
the
episode, but the
Yeah,
crowd may
yeah,
not
no,
know as well.
I ain't lying. I washed dishes. I bust tables. I did hosting. I did security.
Jesus.
I did prep cook, and I did managing, and I did cashier work as well.
Sweep the army knife
No
over
cap.
here.
And I
You
did,
know?
and I did the expo line, and I'm not sure if I mentioned bartending, but I did bartending.
Jeez. Okay, so you basically did everything at one point.
When did you
or another.
start in the industry? How old were
Yeah.
you?
I was 19 years old when I started.
Tell people in the crowd how old you are, G, because they ain't going to believe it.
I'm 41.
That's crazy.
That's that
I
good
love
diet
that
right
reaction.
there.
Health and
Yeah,
wellness
that's
guru
good,
over
man.
here.
Thank you.
Exactly. No cap in
Yeah.
what he's saying.
The thing that got me on this was two things. One, I almost died by the way that I was eating in my early 20s. I thought, oh, I'm young, I'm a man, I could eat a bunch of meat, I could eat like shit, I could work it off. And then my body started rotting from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And that prompted me to become a vegan. And I eat meat once in a while out of habit. But that's all it is, it's out of habit. You don't need it, and it keeps you eating. Vegan pretty much keeps you young, and it keeps you happy because you don't have a lot of chemicals in your body disrupting your brain. So essentially, a lot of times when we hear people talk about health, a lot of us don't have that education, including myself. So what we have to do is we have to appreciate the value of the information age. Right now, they're trying to convince you that this is the social media age, but at the same time, this is a highly informative age that we're living in, and if we choose to apply the information, then we're going to be able to survive efficiently and proficiently. And if we have children or if we have any dreams and goals, we're going to be able to fund our dreams and goals for the future, but also be able to retire. So a lot of people put their money in a 401k plan, and you don't get all that money back that you actually put into it. There's a lot of things, because it's out of fear. People do things out of fear. You don't want to save your money in cash, so you put it in a bank. What happens to that bank if that bank closes down for a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? But you didn't hide your money somewhere safe, and you don't have that mental and spiritual fortitude to say, you know what, I need to leave that there for the future. Let me pretend I'm broke. So you keep stacking.
Rob, I remember you told me one day that you couldn't do something with the bank for like the whole weekend.
Oh yeah.
And you said the bank app was shut down and you couldn't get money or transfer money for like a whole week.
I mean, it was my saving account, so I have to sell some of my stocks in order for it to clear. And I gotta wait.
Yeah.
Like, this is my money, bro. Like,
Right, yeah.
I could just it should have been like a quick pay transaction, but no, I have to wait another 7 business days in order to get my shares. So I'm out here in these streets. I'm like, damn. Like, I'm not hurting, but at the same time, so like it would be
nice.
It's
to
your money. You should be able to
I
get
need
your
it
money
now.
whenever
Yeah,
you
but
want
like
to.
these banks can play around yo, I'm gonna put you like in this type of mortgage, and next thing you know, oh man, I'm in debt right now because
Real.
I can't afford my mortgage.
What's that
Yeah, all right, so Armando, question,
up?
because I struggle with what you're talking about right now. I do have a bank account,
Yeah.
but I don't always trust banks, and I already have an issue with banks to
I
begin
do
with
too.
inherently.
I do too.
What is it? How do you go about this situation? You just have it in cash as one lump sum sitting somewhere? or?
I have
save-
seen 100,000 cash
I
in this
save
man.
I save everything in cash.
Okay.
Everything I save is in cash, because you got to think to yourself, mommy and daddy ain't around to support you for the rest of your life. Your
True.
friends ain't going to be here to support you for the rest of your life. So you need to put that into your psyche. You can't depend on all your friends if they're not building with you. So you got to put something away. You got to depend on yourself, and you got to be mature enough and disciplined enough to understand that if you see a lot of poor people around you, but you also see a lot of poor people who have the opportunity to seek information, knowledge, and to take action, and they choose not to, you learn from those people by observing them. And the greatest way to learn, and the most, I would say, low-risk way of learning is through observation. You observe everybody around you, the way they behave, everything they say, because people say one thing, and they'll speak to you with their mouth, while their body's doing an entirely different thing.
That's real.
Neuro-linguistic programming. So you want to be able to overcome any form of neuro-linguistic programming. What that does is that hits your subconscious mind, because as a child, a lot of our parents were very mean to us because they were going through things in society that they didn't know how to deal with. Their parents weren't taught to deal with things in society. So then you have all of these issues and traumas that are passed down again from generation to generation to generation. But if you at least take the time out to observe these things, then you're going to be able to have enough peace to be able to function.
Okay, that's real. So this really is a holistic approach that you're taking to life.
Notice
which
you said the word
I'm
whole.
really, exactly. So I'm fucking with this. All right, so we talked about your health. We talked about finances. Where are you mentally? Are you like a meditator, a exerciser?
You should train with them.
What do you do, Mars?
You should train
You
with
and I gotta train with
with
Armando.
I can use I can lose
No,
a couple
you should
pounds.
train with them.
Yeah, shit,
I've
well.
seen some highlight things he showed me.
I know you two. You guys should train with them.
All right, well, shit. I'm gonna have to fuck with you,
I
Armando.
want to sit there and record it for the Instagram and see the best 10 minutes of you
I'm
niggas.
the
life.
kind- I'm the
Damn,
kind
this
of
is
guy-
it's a 10-minute workout.
No, y'all 10 minutes.
nah,
I'm working
nah,
out.
He probably
shit,
helped right
yeah,
there, but in a good way.
We'll work
Right,
that
so
out.
I'm the kind of guy that'll jump out of bed and fight a professional fighter for 40 minutes.
Bro, hold on. Do you not remember? Were you not at home when Armando went home in a blizzard and he
Oh,
ran?
no. Yeah, he did.
He ran through
Yeah,
a
yeah,
blizzard.
yeah.
In the snow.
What are you,
This
fucking
past
Mike
winter-
Tyson, bro?
This
What
past
type of
winter,
shit
bro.
is this?
We must have smoked like 7 woods. He like, yeah, bro. I'm finna go run home. I'm like, run home. I'm like, you live in Wicker Park.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
We
he
in
was thinking about
Bronzeville. He like, I'm gonna
sleeping.
go run home. Gee, I go on Instagram, folks. Yeah.
He's almost close.
Armando, did you actually run all the way home that day?
I ran 8 miles that night.
Then he got lost, G.
Christ.
And below.
In a blizzard,
I
bro?
lost, and I was in. It was in 13 below. It was 13 below zero.
You a fucking man to steal, bro.
Man, you know what, man?
Then after that, on his Instagram, he must have posted like other days of him running in the snow and shit at 6 in the morning. I'm like, bro, this is sick.
That's
I-
intense, actually.
You gotta admit to yourself that you ain't shit.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
we like to think we're all invincible. We like to think we're all superhuman. So for me, when I do something like that, it's to totally exercise the bitch in me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
get that bitch out of you, man up, let's go, let's be strong. And the
Facts.
same thing goes for anybody else. You want to let go of that self-pity. Sometimes you might go outside, it might be cold. Smile. Everybody else is sad.
Yeah.
Man, I be smiling when it's below zero weather and everybody looks sad than a mug, man. Because I'm like, y'all don't appreciate being alive?
Whoa.
Damn.
Exactly.
Like,
real.
and
That's real.
Oh,
No,
that's very
waking
real.
up, being alive, and being able-bodied is a real thing that I pray for every day because you can wake up and not feel. I mean,
Yeah.
we all in this room have waking up and not feel good, all feel weird, all thrown off, and it's like, damn. And it might have lasted more than a day, maybe
Right.
2 days, maybe a week. And it's like, damn, like, how can I get back to my old self, you know?
And the same thing with saving money. Like, you have people that have roommates and their rent is $500 a month, and they say the total cost of their living expenses is about $800 to $900, and they make about $3,000 a month. They won't save up that. Then of course you got taxes, right? But you don't save up that $2,000. You can't take a break from going out. Now just imagine in 3 months you save $6,000. Now that's going to be able to fund whatever goal that you have. Now just imagine if you spent 6 months taking a break from going out and being like everybody else and chasing sex. Then you're going to save $12,000.
Facts.
So then imagine in 1 year, if you just settle down and think to yourself, man, for the last 10 years, I've been chasing sex, chasing fake friends, trying to make everybody like me. Then all of a sudden you save what, 24 grand, and now you can fund yourself and you're all good.
Yeah.
And what he's saying he has done, I have seen the results of what he's saying.
I've done this because when nobody believes in you, you're the only one that's left to believe in yourself.
You really got to bet
That's
on
real.
yourself.
That little light of mine, I'm going to let it
You know,
shine.
and yeah,
course.
you'll have people around you because none of us like to be lonely. So yeah, we have people around us that we don't really want to be around. But at the end of the day, if we accept the fact that we believe in ourselves is a good thing, then the way that they feel about us isn't going to matter. So they won't be able to extract any psychic energy from us, any physical energy from us, and any financial energy from us, because all of that is mining. It's like mining a resource. Every human being is filled with resources. They might not know it, but they are, and we all have a lot of power, but we don't exercise that power, because our parents didn't teach us to exercise that power, because our parents are essentially oppressed by economics, and they don't have, and a lot of our parents didn't take the time out to learn how to economically maneuver by studying the jobs that they worked for. A lot of our parents got chastised and demeaned at work, grandparents, and they passed down that resentment and that anxiety from generation to generation.
That's real.
And you have to be able to take a step back, and you have to be the one to say that and see that. If nobody else wants to acknowledge it, because it's not like no one can see it, first and foremost. It's just talking about it. What happens when you talk about something that's powerful? The majority is going to gang up on you. But then you notice there's another majority that's exercising that same powerful knowledge with a majority. So you have to find out how to cultivate a new majority. But it starts with you first.
Exactly.
Damn.
Self-love first.
Damn, man. You coming through with some real gems today, man.
You can imagine when I'm at his house, bro.
Yeah, I can only imagine. All right, damn. So we've got finance, we've got mental, we've got physical. spiritual. Hit something with that over the head for us,
All
man.
right. Well, you got a lot of people that really get angry with the Bible because they're reading parts of the Bible. Because what it is, the Bible has so much knowledge
Yes.
that you have people that don't want you to connect to that knowledge, so they make you focus. They make you focus on things that are not important. But in the Bible, it teaches you to have 7 streams of income. It teaches you how to be healthy. It teaches you psychology. It teaches you about, like I said, finance. It talks about herbs and spices. It talks
Okay.
about being a vegan. It says that he who has oils has wisdom. Herbs shall be the healing of a nation. It's not talking
are
about.
these like THC oils?
No,
or-
it's not. Not it, it's
I'm
not
just
just.
fucking around.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's not just about THC oils. It's essential oils are obviously derived from plants, just like
You
the
make
Right,
essential
right,
oils.
right, right. Yeah.
I've made oils, but in a very like rustic way, like straight up like
I just want to mess
ghetto
around
as
with it.
hell.
What are you doing? Like taking lavender plant, like just crushing it until like some liquid comes out? How do you do it? How do
You
you
gotta
do it?
Extract it.
distill it.
Okay,
Oh.
okay.
So the more you boil it, what you notice is that the oil starts to get on the side of the pot.
Right, I've seen it
So
on
you
YouTube.
actually got to scrape the sides of the pot to get the oil.
I remember walking up to his house for like the
Resin.
first couple times,
Mm-hmm.
and he lives like in this nice condo building. I walk up to this, he like lives on the last floor at the top of it, and I'll be like, damn, what are you making? And it'll literally be essential oil as soon as you open the door.
Oh,
I'll
that's
be
lit.
like, bruh, like we were smoking. I'll be like, you don't even smell the smoke, you smell oils everywhere.
It really strings the nostril, and I say that in a very.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah,
you
I
were
was there.
the day I was sick too.
And I say that in a
Did it help
very-
you feel better? It made you feel better, Kingsley?
No, I had like my stomach was cramping.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
I was doing some shit with him real fast, and like I was damn near like falling over in my seat.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Rob was
shit.
there, and Rob was gonna drive me home. And Armando, what you put like some ginger and water and some other shit
Yeah.
in the cup.
Yeah.
I drank it. 10 minutes later, I was back to normal again.
Yeah.
Oh man, the power of these plants, like nature, the earth really can heal itself. We don't need a lot of these
A
other
lot of
things
people
that they
think-
talk about. We do.
A lot of people think they need supplements,
Mhm.
but if you look at these supplements, they're made out of herbs and spices, y'all. You can go to the store and buy a $2 little bottle of ginger.
Yeah.
And then if you want, you can go to the vitamin shop and then buy a $13 bottle of ginger with less than 2.5 ounces of ginger in the bottle. But then you can go to a wholesaler and buy 1 pound of ginger for $6.50.
Tell him.
And cayenne pepper has zinc. I mean, it has a lot of iron. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of these herbs and minerals, a lot of these herbs are very high in metals, minerals, and folates. And we're not even taught that. We're taught to go after the synthesis. But when you look at all these other countries, you know, if you study their death rates, their cancer rates, and their rates of illness, then
Bad low.
yeah, but that's also going to take you to what they eat and what they consume and what type of medicinal
put in your
practices
body,
they
yeah.
I
have.
mean, because here in America, it's more of like processed food.
Fast
You know,
food.
I
Yeah,
want
fast
my
food.
meal less than 5 minutes.
Well, this is run
You
by
know?
you got to realize that America is run by the mob. And what does the mafia do? They force you to buy their shit.
The government.
Yeah, they'll beat your ass, they'll kick down your door, they'll shake you down for money. You know, it's extortion and racketeering.
So how you feel about weed legalization now? Compared to when you first started smoking weed.
I mean, I see the positives in it right now, but you can obviously clearly see that it's obviously directed towards one race. They pretty much want
Yeah.
white
Rich
people
white
to make
dudes
a
are just
lot of
going to come
money
through and
off
make
of
a
it.
bunch of money
Yeah, I
off of
mean,
it
like they're
again.
gonna be the
Yeah.
new millionaires, and I mean that's why it's legal in so many states.
And then on top of that, like they had a lot of years leg up as far as like
Well,
making all these.
I mean, to get compliant, you gotta know to get compliant. Like people don't say compliant if you don't know what it means.
Well, you got to think that they had a head start with the Homestead Act in the 1940s and the
There
early
we go,
1900s.
Armando. There we go.
Facts.
So you're unbeknownst to a lot of people, you're dealing with a lot of people who are benefiting off of slavery. And I don't know if a lot
America benefits off of slavery
of
in general.
True that. The Homestead Act just gave a lot of white people farms, homes, houses, and the engineering know-how to maintain their land, farm, and keep their houses maintained, and to start businesses.
Yes,
Like they were
yes.
taught to have a head start. So now that you know that, look how far we're behind. We have a lot of catching up to do, but the power of the mind is timeless. So you can sit here in the physical realm, cry, bitch, and moan, or you can spend 6 months catching up and spending, basically, in that 6 months, you'll have 20 years of catch up, believe it or not.
Facts.
Because the mind has enough power to memorize or remember about like billions or millions of volumes of information. So if science is telling us these things, then imagine if we put our mind to breaking those chains that were passed down from generation to generation. These are invisible chains that we cannot see, but we feel them every day in our anxiety. We wake up feeling guilty for no reason. We feel ashamed. Then we're chasing sex and what else? Self-gratification, and we want to be verified. But yeah, we don't verify ourselves, and we're not gratified with ourselves. We're not satisfied with ourselves. Do you want to be happy or do you want to be satisfied? I don't want to be happy. I want to be satisfied. Because if I'm satisfied, then the happiness is going to follow regardless. And regardless of the happiness not being there, if I'm satisfied, I'll be able to cope with the lack of happiness that's there.
Facts.
Damn, okay. Bigger picture, bigger picture.
So do you feel like that happiness is something that we need to chase, or is happiness just a thing that like it's a state of mind?
Happiness is a feeling.
Those
So
are
you just feel
fickle.
you're feeding the ego.
Feelings are like drugs,
Yeah.
and they produce chemical secretions from the brain. When you're satisfied, that's a spiritual thing. Happiness is mental. Satisfaction is spiritual.
You think people don't understand that spiritual and spiritual mind, like it's different? Like when people say I have a gut feeling,
Yeah,
they don't go with it. Like,
that because we are trained to run towards the flesh more than the spirit. So what's
Amen.
more comfortable? Knowing that your future is going to be secure with wealth and finance just as long as you put in the work right now, even though you can't see that wealth and finance now. And what's more comfortable? Being spiritual and wise, even though you can't see that wisdom and spirituality right now. Or what's more comfortable? Having sex with that person that wants to have sex with you, or spending time with a bunch of people drinking, doing drugs, and being egotistical and gossiping about everybody and looking down on people.
Excuse me, Armando. Just a random quick side note. Did you do a lot of fucking or something in your 20s, man?
You know what?
It's a lot of like
growing
fuck
up,
that.
You know.
he did.
You know what I
Ain't
noticed
nothing wrong
growing
with it.
up
I'm not
in
here
the
to judge.
80s?
I'm just
I'm
curious.
Born
telling,
up in the 80s.
I'm telling y'all straight
Oh, the
up.
80s. The
No internet.
Growing up in the
No
growing
rap
up in
cap.
the 80s.
yeah, because
No
you
cap.
are 40 something. So yeah, that
Literally.
makes
Growing
sense.
up in the
yeah.
80s, there's like you didn't need no internet. And when you keep it real with yourself, you really do notice that people focus way too much on sex.
This
And
is
that's,
true.
That's something.
Especially on Twitter.
Straight up, everywhere, everywhere. But the whole point is that that's brainwashing.
Mm-hmm.
How are you gonna spend your life focusing on wishing somebody could provide you with good sex when you don't want to provide yourself with a good future and success?
That's actually hella real. I'm not even anti that. That's hella real.
Then people treat their jobs like mommy and daddy. Mommy, here I come. Give me my allowance while I do my chores and go out and bang my brains out and get drunk and imagine that I'm successful and take a bunch of pictures on Instagram and pretend I'm successful.
Man,
Sheesh.
people kill me.
Sheesh.
People kill me with the.
We are
man,
unpacking
no,
some truth
no,
today.
No, people kill me with the. I'm working a corporate job. I'm making X amount of money a year. Like, bro, I did
But
that.
deep
Or like, nah, bro, I'm busy. We all busy. We all go through life, my nigga. We all got somebody going through some shit. Like, man, like people gotta realize, like, if you work in a regular job, I don't have no problem with that. But if you out here trying to be an entrepreneur, you're doing everything you have to do to make sure your bills is paid. You got the bills paid for the next month. You're straight. Your company's straight.
Right.
Like,
'Cause
it's not like you're relying on mommy and daddy. It's not like, oh shit, I'm working X amount of hours a week. My check finna be not. Like, I could look up. I had just quit my job 2 months ago. I could look up like, damn, I might not make no money today. 2 days later, oh, I might make $900 today. Oh, I make no money today. Oh, it's like a too-racky day. Oh, okay.
Too racky. I like that. Too racky. But you,
But what made you work for yourself?
yeah.
What made me work for myself?
What made you quit the hospitality, all of the bullshit?
Because you know it's fast money.
I was just telling y'all, brothers. It's a mommy daddy industry. Your manager, I keep it real, y'all. Your manager who's a fucking cokehead, who's an alcoholic,
Facts.
who's out there having sex with
Big
all the
restaurant
staff,
shit.
has the nerve to treat you like a little boy or a little girl and be a total hypocrite. And you always got to deal with somebody threatening your livelihood. And when you think about that,
when
you
you're
think,
a brown person or a black person.
oh yeah, straight up, for real.
The
Yeah.
trauma of it.
The double standard in race is huge, for sure. And when you go through that, you definitely have a fear moment, and then you quit your job and you don't know what to do. Then next thing you know,
you start figuring out things
you
out.
start figuring things out. You start
right.
looking at wholesale items. Start
Right.
looking at
Yeah.
spices. Start looking at honey. Start looking at essential oils.
That's real.
And then you start selling that shit. You bust your ass. You go out.
And it's funny because people might laugh at you on Instagram, Facebook, fast forward. When I'm doing numbers, it's like, damn.
Yeah, or you train people, you start training people, you start consulting people, giving people knowledge, teaching people how to better themselves. You just don't start with the spices, you just don't stop with the herbs, spices, and honey.
Right.
You keep going, and then you buy a big scarf like this, and you put a clip on it.
Yeah, they call it
and
a
then-
day.
Or a button on it, and then you sell it for like 50, 60 bucks online after you spend $7 or $3 on wholesale.
Facts.
It's
Great
like, where's
markup.
your mind at? Because there's 7 billion people in this world, but how many of you are willing to lead yourselves? Now, if the 6 billion want to be led by leaders, then you 1 billion become the leaders of the 6 billion. And they will follow you because everybody's looking for a leader.
Preach.
Damn. Well, we got about 10 more minutes left, give or take. Does anybody? This guy is fucking intense. I fuck with you a lot, Armando. This is some good shit. This, yeah, I saw you rocking with him. I know, man. I know. Good.
I got you. I got you. Well, the whole thing with the tree is that it allowed me to relax well enough to be able to utilize my critical thinking skills. So before I started smoking, all I ever would do was just focus on my traumas and everything. And when I would smoke alone in isolation, I would review all of the abuse that I went through as a child, all of the abuse that I went through at the hands of police, teachers, and whatnot. And being able to smoke allowed me to understand it's not you, it's them. And it also allowed me to observe the way that I was eating. So when I knew that I was killing myself with the food, being able to have that critical thinking skill there because my mind is so relaxed, it allowed me to heal my body because now I'm following myself. I'm taking the moment instead of watching TV and looking at all my friends, I'm being introspective. So it does influence you to be introspective. But a lot of times when people become introspective, they call that thinking too deep, and then they become anxious. And then the health part comes in because in critical thinking, you tell yourself, I'm high, I'm gonna eat this burger. Look at what this burger is doing to me. It makes me heavy, my skin's real oily. And then I'm gonna switch off to eating vegetables because now I'm dying from internal cancer. So how am I gonna be able to heal myself? Let me eat all these vegetables, raw foods, raw nuts, everything, because it's gonna clean out my body. Then the brain generates 250,000 kilowatts of energy, which is enough to power a city for 10 days. Now, when you think about that, if your body is pure and your brain uses a lot of blood and your blood is clean, you're gonna be able to generate optimal thinking at a high level.
Damn.
That's true. This is all facts.
Yeah.
If he told me this, I googled it and started doing that shit.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Look at me
it's the
now.
real deal. It's the real deal. Question, Armando. Well, I know we, at least within the hip hop community, we're still grieving the loss of Nipsey Hussle. But
Yeah.
you know, there were conspiracy theories about the whole him and the documentary with Dr. Sebi or whatnot.
Yeah.
Where do you align with Dr. Sebi's philosophies on these things? It sounds very similar, but I would like for you to maybe break that down a little bit more.
Well, when I almost died in my early 20s, I started healing myself.
What'd you almost die from?
Yeah.
I was eating like shit.
I remember
know,
you
late
said
nights,
that. Yeah.
you know,
So is it what was it? Was it
'Cause
a
I'm a-
heart attack?
I was
or?
a glutton. I was a
Okay.
glutton,
Oh, you
and
were
I-
fat.
No, I'm skinny. I've always been skinny, but I can eat a lot of food.
Got you.
and I-
got you.
like
Okay.
Phil.
Okay. Got you.
yeah,
got you,
and
got
I
you,
was
got you.
getting cancer from it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So just because you're skinny don't mean you're healthy.
Right.
This is true.
I
Very
mean,
true.
I was
I feel
polluted
you,
like
bro,
a
on
mofo,
that
man.
one.
I was
Especially
like,
working
"Nah."
in the hospitality, eating burger at 4 a.m. I'm like, yo, I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I'm with you, but keep going.
What was the question again?
Where does it seems very
Oh,
much so
Dr.
like it
Sebi.
aligns? Yeah. But like, could you break that down a
And
little
then-
bit more for us?
and-
I want the
Who
documentary
was
to
the-
like put
who
me
was
on
he?
game.
Exactly. Do you know?
Who?
The doctor, Dr. Sebi.
When I bumped into Dr. Sebi,
Oh, you met him?
no, I met him online.
Okay. I was
When I
about to say,
bumped
oh,
into
shit.
Dr. Sebi after my journeys of self-healing,
Okay.
it was good to find somebody who had enough confidence to not fear death.
Mm.
Because I've been abused so much growing up that I've become afraid to speak knowledge, to share wisdom, and to speak truth. And then all of a sudden you see Dr. Sebi, and he's like, man, I healed people with AIDS. I cured all these people, and I don't care if none of you believe me. And I was like, yo, man, I love this dude, man. This is the dude I've been needing to hear for forever.
He was your turning point.
Yeah, because he had no
Perfect.
fear of death.
Right.
And just to be clear, this is so I'm not tweaking. This doctor was the one who kind of had more of the vegan, whole foods approach to your diet, and just believe that these things, if you were to actually consume yourself with the type of shit that you're talking about, you can cure yourself of cancer and other very harmful diseases.
He's the one that inspired me to heal people.
Okay, so he does have a direct
He
influence
inspired
on
me
your
to
life.
have the confidence to be able to risk my life to heal people.
Damn, that's deep.
You know what
That's
I'm saying? To not be afraid to die for speaking knowledge. Like that's what he gave me.
Okay. Well, since we're almost on our last leg of this, we've got a couple more minutes. With it being the week of 420, do you want to maybe spark a little imagination for us if we do smoke and we're celebrating on Saturday or Friday night at a Lulu Brewery or Saturday at the Black Hippie Farms event?
Of course.
You know, do you have anything that maybe you want to say just for us to maybe think about as we smoke weed, get high, and enjoy
Something we should leave
a bunch
off
of
on.
bad
Yeah.
food over the weekend?
Definitely a bunch of pasta.
Stop feeling
I'm not
guilt-
eating no carrots and dip
I
on
would
Saturday,
say
though.
I would say stop feeling guilty for everything.
Mm.
Just stop feeling guilty. Stop feeling guilty because a guy doesn't like you, a girl doesn't like you. Stop feeling guilty because you're not rich. Stop feeling guilty because you feel guilty, you're gonna lead a fake life. If you keep feeling guilty, you're gonna pretend to be happy, you're gonna pretend to feel good, and you're gonna pretend to feel smart. Stop feeling guilty because you might not have all the knowledge in the world. Stop feeling guilty because you don't have the health that you need. Stop feeling guilty so that you can be mobile and go out and get.
Real. Damn.
Drop the bomb. For
Stop
real.
feeling motherfucking
Guilty.
guilty. And R. Kelly is guilty.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Well, it was a pleasure, Armando. I'm glad I
Thank you,
finally got to
brother.
get in the
Thank you, brother.
podcast
I
episode
appreciate you.
with you, man.
Thank
It's
you
a
for having-
blessing. Thank
We
you,
really
everyone that's
appreciate it.
out.
Everybody.
Y'all ain't gotta
Everybody.
go home, and no, you don't have to get the hell up out of here. I'm about to play some music. We gonna groove out. If you got yourself a little bit of booze, wine is very good for the heart, I've heard. You know, mix, mingle, meet somebody, love somebody, and stay blessed. This is the God's a Great A Living via Mild Sauce Radio, where it's kind of hot. Live from the Hoxton Hotel. I'm Okra Winfrey.
Bobby.
Hey, it's your man Juice World, Juice Man.
Hey.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for yourself.
yourself.
Week. Much love, much
Yeah, I
love.
love you.
God
Love and
bless.
support and all that. Now let's go drink. There we go.
Another glass of wine, please.
Yay. Jake Salama.